Greetings, friend. This puzzle I thought was too difficult to add to the reward puzzle pack, The Signs by Florian Wortman. But I'm going to show you now how to solve this wonderful puzzle. It doesn't have 1, 2, 3. It has 4 advanced strategies. The last one is the coolest, and you're going to love it. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go. And with that, it's solving time. Okay, first things we're going to look at, you got these ones up here in row 1 and 3, and this one here. Only place for row 1 in block 3 is right there. All right, and now you can look for the 3s. You'll notice that because of this 3, 3 can't be here. Because of this 3, 3 can't be here, so 3 is locked to that spot right there. Awesome. All right, let's look at the 4s now. You got 4 here, and you got these 2 4s. So the only place for a 4 in block 9 is right there. And that leaves 2 spots for a 4 in block 6. And so what I'm doing here is Snyder notation. Anytime in a 3x3 block, you have 2 possibilities for a candidate. Mark them. And in case you solve one of these cells, you can solve the other one right away. But it also gives you a little clue for some more advanced strategies. All right, you got these 4s here. And this 4 means the only place for 4 in block 2 is right there. And then with these 2 4s, you might notice there's only 2 places for a 4 in block 4. And so now you see how this 4 and this 4, 4 can either be here, here, or here and here. So this is called like a mini X-wing. Whenever you see this with Snyder notation, what it means is the 4s have to be in row 4 and 6 here in block 4, and row 4 and 6 here in block 6. So that means in block 5, the 4 has to be somewhere here in row 5, because that's the only place along this row where it can be. And since you have a 4 here and here, this is the only spot for a 4. So that mini X-wing helped us clue in on that. This is one of those strategies I do cover in my free Sudoku solving guide. I got a link in the description below if you want to get that. All right, let's look at the 3s again. We got these 3s here. If you solve for the 4, you can solve for the 3 now in block 2. Okay, after doing that, let's look at where the 5s can go. Since this 5 cuts across, 5 has to be right there, which leaves us with a naked triple, right? So now we only have a 2, 7, 8 remaining in block 2. I'll mark that because this 2 can't be there, and because the 8 can't be there. And that leaves us with a 6, 9 naked pair here on the ends, right? Because 2, 7, 8 takes up these 3 spots, only leaves a 6 and a 9 for row 1. Now, let's check out where the 5s can go down here in block 8. You got 2 5s there and this 5. Solve for 5 right there. And then what we can look at is where the 7s can go here in block 5. I got 2 7s here. One place for a 7 is right there. Nice. And now we can remove the 7 from right there. You might notice with these 2 7s, the only place for a 7 in block 3 is right here. And then with this 7 and this 7, you have a pointing pair of 7s here. So a pointing pair means the 7s are limited to the same row within a block. And since they're limited to row 8, they can't be anywhere else outside the block. They have to be somewhere here in block 8, and they're limited to that row. And if you notice how this 7 cuts across, and with this 7, we can put a 7 right here and finish out row 2 with a 2. But now with these 2 7s, this 7 and the pointing pair of 7s, only place left for 7, block 7 is right there. Nice. All right, after doing all those 7s, let's look at the 9s now. Because of this 9 and this 9, you can solve for 9 right here. And then that's going to give us a 1, 2, 7 in column 4 remaining. Well, I got a 1 right here, so 1 can't be there. And because this 1, it can't be there. So this has to be your 1. And now with this 2, that means this has to be the 7, which allows us now to solve up here. Because that's got to be your 2, that's your 8, and that's your 7. Awesome. After solving all that, we can actually go here to block 5 and do some more solving. Because of this 2, this has to be your 2 right there. Because of this 6, the only place for a 6 is right there. And this leaves a 3. And we come down here. I don't see a 1 in column 6 yet. Because this one, the 1's got to be there. And this is going to be an 8, which leaves us with a 6, 9. naked pair. Whenever I see these naked pairs and these buy value cells, I get a little excited because I know it's going to lead to advanced strategies. And we're getting there to the first advanced strategy. Flooring gives you a lot of play here, and we actually saw quite a bit of cells first, but then we're going to get to that spot where we're going to start needing the harder stuff. All right, after all that, let's look here. We got these two ones that we just put in, and you got this one, so we can put a one right here in block 7. And now let's look, and we're going to basically fill out rows 5, 6, and 8, because that's going to help us out and set us up for that first advanced strategy. Whenever you have at least 5 or more cells, it's worth, and you get a little stuck, it's worth filling them out and seeing what you can do. So you got a 3, 4, 6, 7, 9 right here. So that'd be a 1, 2, 5, 8. Can't have an 8 there. Can't have a 1 there. Can't have a 1 or a 2 there. Looks like a 1, 2, 5, 8 can all be there for now. You go across row 6, 1, 2, 6, 7, 9. We're looking for a 3, 4, 5, 8. No 8 there. No 3, 5 there. No 3, 5 there. And no 4 there. So what you'll see here is because it's the 3 5s, you have a naked pair right there. And I'll just kind of color that. So naked pair of 4, 8. That means a 4 and 8. And those cells are restricted to 2 candidates. That means we can eliminate the 4 and 8 from everywhere else along row 6. So that's helpful for us. All right, that's going to be one of the things I needed you to see here. Now, row 8 is going to be a little bit exciting here too. We got a 1, 4, 5, 7, 8. We need a 2, 3, 6, 9. And I'll do this since I already filled out one of those cells. 2, 3, 6, 9. This can't be a 9. This can't be a 2. And you're like, okay, that's no big deal there. But let's go for row 9 now. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So you're looking for a 5, 6, 8, 9. All right. So no 9 here. No 5 there. And no 5 here. What I want you to notice is look up column 8. Where can a 5 and an 8 be? You notice they can both be in this cell, right? And they can both be in this cell. But a 5, 8 cannot be here because of this 5, 8. Cannot be here because of this 5, 8. And it can't be here because of the 5, 8 in the block. So the 5 and 8 are actually limited to these two cells. So the restriction is on the candidates themselves, the 5 and 8. So that's a hidden pair. It's hidden between these extra candidates. So we can eliminate everything else because the 5 and 8 have to be somewhere in column 8, and they're only in 2 cells. So these 2 cells have to be 5 or 8. Nice. And now what you might notice is now you got a 5, 8 across here as a naked pair. So we can eliminate the 5 from right there, and we can eliminate the 5, 8 from right here. This is great stuff. We're actually getting and setting ourselves up for that first advanced strategy. You really have to look at some of these intermediate strategies if you want to understand and get to the advanced ones, because this is stuff you can find. I call it intermediate because it's one of the top 7 intermediate strategies. But now we're going to get to the point where we need a little bit of help. We need something more advanced than that. So let's start looking at the individual candidates, because that's what we want to do next. All right, the ones are limited to these 2 cells here, so I'll make Snyder marks, and they're limited to these 2 cells right here. Great. Let's look at the 2s now. What can we do with the 2s? All right, 2s there, 2s here. For some reason it also marked the 4th. Didn't want it to. 2 in those spots. 2 can be here, and 2s can be there. And I'll make these green. Okay. Maybe you notice in row 5 that the 2s only be in 2 spots. If you look in row 8, a 2 can only be in 2 spots as well. These is called conjugate pair. That means if one of these is not true, the other one has to be a 2, and vice versa. You notice the 2s in row 5 and 8, they actually share a column, column 1. And then you'll notice that the tips, the other end of the conjugate pair, it's in the same 3x3 band. This is also called a tower, but in different columns. And so I'll highlight those orange. And so what we have here, if you notice that either this cell right here is going to be a 2, and anything that sees it cannot contain a 2. If it's not a 2, this cell has to be a 2. Then this won't be a 2. and this cell would end up being a 2. So you have to have at least 1 2 here or here. So any cell that sees both of those, you can eliminate a 2. And this is called Sudoku Skyscraper. This is kind of a sideways skyscraper with the rows, but it's a skyscraper. And we can eliminate a 2 from here and here. Okay, this is awesome stuff, because what it's going to do now, and I'll get rid of the colors, is now it limits the 2s to the same 2 cells that the 1s are limited to. So this is now a hidden pair 1 2. And since the 1s and 2s are now limited to these same 2 cells in column 9, in that hidden pair, that means a 2 can't be anywhere else in this block. So we can actually eliminate a 2 from there as well. Awesome. And so now we can fill in these candidates. This can only now be a 4 6, and this can only be a 3 and a 6. And then since you have the 1 2 here and the 4 7 8, we're looking at a 3 5 6 9. I got a 5, so this is going to be a 3 6 9. I can actually get rid of the 8 right there. Awesome. All right, so that's Skyscraper. That's the first strategy. And in fact, my puzzle pack I have out this month is based on skyscrapers. Famous skyscrapers. You use a strategy for each one. Click on the pin comment below to get that pack and start solving fun puzzles like this. Last month was Florian's pack, The Sign, and it was well received, very fun, and I hope you don't miss out on it. Click on the pin comment below. Let's get rid of all these colors, and we got our first advanced strategy. I promise you 3 more. Okay, the next advanced strategy, let's look at the 3s. Where can a 3 be? These 2 spots here, these spots here, can't be there. We already have a 3 in that column. And those spots. All right. Let's color this up green. Do you see another advanced strategy here? And you can look at it 2 different ways. The way I noticed it first is if you look at rows 6 and 7, you'll notice there's only 2 possibilities for the 3. Either here and here, the 3 has to be there or there. And so since they have to be in one of these spots, that's a Sudoku X-wing. And we can eliminate the 3 from every other spot in those columns. We already eliminated the other 3s in column 9. We can eliminate these 2 spots for 3s as well. So you eliminated 3 from right there, and you can eliminate a 3 from right here. And now this would be a 1, 2, or a 9. You're like, okay, Timberlake, what's the big deal? Well, you're about to see why we need to eliminate a 3 from this cell right here. You're not going to make more progress until you eliminate a 3 to get us moving on to the next advanced strategy. And if you want to learn more about skyscrapers and X-wings, I made a tutorial that covers both of them. I'll put a link here. Check it out. And while you're at it, subscribe to Smart Hobbies. You will solve X-wings and skyscrapers even better. All right. And so like I said, the reason why you want to remove the 3 from here is now, let's look at this column. See these 4 cells? You'll notice that they only have the same 4 candidates, 1, 2, 6, 9. That's a naked quad now. And by a naked quad, that means those 4 candidates, 1, 2, 6, and 9, in that column are limited to the same 4 cells. That means the 3, 5, and 8 is all that can be in the remaining 3 cells. So this can only be a 5, 8 now. And this can only be a 3, 8 now. And this was important. We need to get to this point to set up the 3rd advanced strategy. And I'll tell you right now, if you are keen, you might be able to spot a couple of different advanced strategies. And if you do the one different from what I'm about to show you, I want you to, 1, like this, 2, share it to somebody and see if they can find it, and 3, put in the comments which strategy you use that's different than what I'm about to show you. I'm really curious to see how people solve these puzzles. If you look right here, you'll notice that's a 3, 5, naked pair, BVC as I call it. You'll notice it sees these 2 cells, one within the block and one in the column. And they have what I called the paired possibilities for the 3 candidates, 3, 5, and 8. You got a 3, 5 here, you got a 3, 8 here, and you got a 5, 8 there. That's all 3 paired possibilities. And this one cell sees both of those. So if this was a 3, this cell would be an 8. If this was a 5, this cell would be an 8. So any cell that sees both these orange cells, you can eliminate an 8 because an 8's got to be in one of these orange cells. This is a Sudoku XY wing. This is awesome. And we got there by finding this naked quad from that X-wing. And it means we can eliminate an 8 from this cell right here. You can eliminate an 8 from these cells. You could eliminate it from here, but we already had an 8 in the row. Awesome. You want to learn more about XY wings? Check out this tutorial. This is huge, and now you're probably like, why, Timberlake? What is that huge about for? Well, we're going to get some more solving in, and we're going to set up the next and last advanced strategy. But you have to see each of these have to be done in a certain order, or you won't get there. Because you eliminate an 8 from this cell right here, we want to finish column 2. We got a 1, 2, 4, 7. We need 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9. So this sees a 5, 6, and 8. So this is a 3 and a 9. And now this right here, 3, looks like you could put 5, 6, 8, or 9. But you look right here at these 3 cells, and I'll highlight them purple. They're a naked triple, right? 3, 6, and 9 are limited to those 3 cells. So they can't be anywhere else along column 2. So that you cannot have a 6 and 9 in this cell. You also might have seen that the 5, 8 were a hidden pair. They're complementary, right? You either see the naked triple or you see the hidden pair. They both work the same. This is, again, going to be huge because you probably noticed now we have a 5, 8 right here, naked pair, which means these 2 cells are limited to 6 and 9. And since we have a 6 right here, this has to be your 9. This is your 6, and this is your 9. Great. All right, we put a 2, 6 right here. Awesome. And now you can eliminate the 6 from here. And you're like, Timberlake, what's so awesome about that? I mean, that's kind of cool. But now with this 9 up here, you get rid of these 9s. The other thing it does is, where are the 6s? Where can they be in column 9? Well, they're limited to the 2 cells I have highlighted. They're now a claiming pair. They're a claiming pair. They can't be anywhere else along column 9. They have to be somewhere in block 9. They're a claiming pair. We can eliminate a 6 from every other cell within block 9. You're like, okay, what's the big deal? This cell right here, what could it have been? It looks like it could be, it can't be a 1, 3, 4, 5. It can't be a 6 now, 7. So 2, 8, 9. But let's look a little bit further. Since we did some cleanup in here, where can the 8s be in block 7? Well, they're limited to these 2 cells. So that's a pointing pair of 8s. So this can't be an 8 either. Awesome. All right. Because of this claiming pair, which you got to find, this intermediate strategy, now we've limited this cell to a 2 or a 9. And you're like, okay, what's the big deal? Now there's the only way to make it through and crack this puzzle so we can solve the rest is to find this next strategy. And it's one of my favorite strategies. You'll notice you have a 2, 9 here in row 7. And I'll highlight that. You might also notice in row 8, you have a 2, 9 right here in a different block in a different row. Now, let's look at the third block in the third different row. You'll notice that a 2 could be here, but not a 9. So what this tells us is if these were both 9s, where could you put a 9 in block 8? You couldn't put it anywhere, right? You'd get rid of both those 9s. Both these have to be a 6. Breaks the puzzle. Can't happen. So we know one of these has to be a 2. Since one of these has to be a 2, we can eliminate a 2 from any cell that sees both of these. This is a Sudoku W-wing. It's the Delta variant W-wing. And this is that last great strategy. This is awesome stuff. Because what it allows us to do is we can remove a 2 from right there. We can actually remove the 6 from right there because of this claiming pair of 6s. Just like we remove a 6 from right there. And you can remove a 2 from right here. And this could have been 2, 4, 8, but you got the 4 there. Now the 2's gone. That's only can be an 8. This is amazing stuff. Florian, I love the challenge you put into this puzzle. You want to learn more about W-wings? Check out this video. So we're going to remove our colors, and now we're going to get some solving, because now we have a single cell 3 here. We got a single cell 8 there. What can that do for us? Well, first let's finish up block 9. We got to make sure we get this solve done all the way. This now has to be a 6. That's got to be a 5. That's an 8. That's a 9. And that's 2. Nice. And now with this 6, you got the 9, 6 here. And we're just going to kind of knock out all these blocks because we already have the 8. This is now a 3. And with this 9, this is now a 6. All right, which means this has to be your 9, and that's going to be your 2, which makes this now a 1. That's your 9. That's your 3. Here's your 5. Here's your 8. Here's your 4. Lovely. All right, that's got to be a 2 right there. 1 and 2 right there. Nice. We already got the 5, so this has got to be a 3. This is going to be a 6. 2, 6 here. Finish up that block. Nice. We got the 4, 8, 5. It's like butter solving the rest of this. Thank you, Florian. All right, because this 8, that's got to be a 5, and our last cell is an 8. I couldn't show you all the tricks that Florian does in his puzzles in this video. Check out this one to see some more. Thank you so much, Florian, for an amazing puzzle and that wonderful pack, the signs. Please consider supporting me through my Buy Me a Coffee page. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching.